Well, I'm 48 years old, and it would seem that Ernie from Sesame Street might have just taught me something because apparently I just might need to put down the ducky. What's up, good people? My name is Stacy, and yeah, apparently I may need to put down the ducky, and maybe you do too. And you might be wondering, what in the world is she talking about, putting down the ducky? Well, if you are fortunate enough, I say fortunate enough, to remember Sesame Street's Put Down the Ducky, it was a song that was inspired by Ernie's desire to play the saxophone. And he went to his cool friend Hoots the Owl and, was telling him how it was so difficult for him to play the saxophone because, well, every time he tried to hit the keys of the saxophone, the duck would squeak. That's what rubber ducks tend to do. And the whole lesson behind it was that if he wanted to play the saxophone, he had to put down the ducky. So what's your ducky? What's my ducky? I might have a few duckies. I love to do so many things. I'm making these videos for you guys. I'm creating content over on Substack. I am working on my writing, so I have like a book in progress, and I love to do short stories. I'm obviously trying to be an awesome wife and sister and auntie and all those kinds of things. I'm trying to do a good job at work. I have entrepreneurial ideas. I have workshop ideas. I love being a part of the Detroit tech community. And yeah, there's a lot of duckies. But here's the thing. When you think about putting down a ducky, first off, there's nothing that says you can't come back and pick it up again. My pastor likes to say delay does not mean denial. And so some things it just may not be the season for. And being able to figure that out is a really important skill to be able to develop, to say, hey, I can set this down now and I'll come back to this other thing later. Because it's very difficult for us to do all things. There's a saying and often a graphic that accompanies it about, the fact that we can do all things, but we can't do all things at the same time, right? If we try to do all the things at the same time, you'll most likely end up with a lot of partially completed things or things that never really got the appropriate attention and effort that it needed. Whereas if you were to conquer or complete or tackle a few things first, maybe you can come back to some of those other things. So even though you might not be able to do all the things at the same time, like I said, you can turn around and pick that ducky back up later. And this is not just in things that you do privately, but sometimes it's also in your career or things that you do with your family. In order to get someplace, you may have to let some things go. Like I said, albeit temporarily, but in some cases it could be permanent. Depending on what that ducky is, you could be choking the life out of it as well. And so we have to get good at making those type of evaluations. As usual, if you'd like me to get into it a little deeper, just let me know. I'd be happy to come up with some content around that for you, because letting go is definitely one of the hardest things out there to do, especially when in the name of growth, right? We like the things that we like. We're comfortable with them. In a lot of cases, they have served us well. Ernie's ducky was a comfort for him, was something familiar for him. But again, for him to learn a new skill, he had to kind of put that down. Sometimes if we want to grow, we have to let go of that thing that feels super comfortable. You hear people say all the time that you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Well, that's what we're talking about when I'm talking about putting down a ducky. Sometimes holding a ducky might mean that you multitask too much. And I'm a believer in the thing, I can't remember where I saw it, but it was saying that multitasking is a fallacy, that nobody's really capable of multitasking, that what we're really doing is switching tasks a lot. And I know in my field in IT, we talk about context switching quite a bit, and the cost that's associated with it. So again, you may have to put down that ducky and stop trying to do, again, everything, especially everything at once. The other part about putting down the ducky is that if you want to change, if you want something to be different, you have to take action. You have to take action, and that means a lot of times changing your behavior, the things that you do, the things that are within your control. And like I said, a temporary sacrifice, wow, I mean, it has the potential to change your life in some cases. I'm talking to myself first. So many things on my plate, so many things I want to do, apps I want to build. I don't even want to get into all the things that I've been experimenting with in the AI space and everything. So, yeah, maybe we can help each other put down the ducky. And I'm not sure who needs to hear this, but I'm speaking to you IT leaders out there too. Sometimes putting down the ducky means that you have to change your leadership style. You may have to sunset some outdated systems. You may need to realize that the workforce has changed, and you may need to change along with it. It's going to be really hard to lead innovation if you're stuck clinging to the status quo and how you've always done things because you've been working at the company for 20 years. And to my hardworking developers, engineers, product owners, team members, project managers, for you, putting down a ducky may save you from some burnout. You know, always want to do that one more task, that one more thing. You know, self-care is super important, and nobody's going to be able to benefit from your brilliance if you're completely burned out. As someone who suffered from burnout, it's really not all that easy to recover from, to be honest. And so the best thing, what is the saying? An ounce of prevention beats a pound of cure. Basically what that means is stop it before it starts. Put the ducky down. And if you look at it, like I said, from any angle, if you want something different, if you want something to change, you really do have to do something. You may have to learn a new skill. You may have to give up some bad habits. You may have to, again, whether it's temporary or permanent, you really have to make some adjustments in how you handle things and how things impact how you respond to things. There's a therapist that I like that I follow on TikTok who often talks about the fact that, you know, our mental health is not identifying those things that challenge us, but determining and establishing ways to handle things when they come, because it rains on the just as well as the wicked, right? When the sun comes out, it doesn't decide who it's going to shine on. What we have to do is equip ourselves with how to handle the things that life keeps sending at us. I know, adulting sucks. I've said it before, but you got a choice. You're in this game now. And so you can do those preventative things, do those things that benefit you, that allow you to do what you need to do just that much longer, that much more effectively. Or you can keep clinging to the same thing that hasn't made the difference that you need. The saying goes, do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result is just insanity. So it may be time to put down the ducky. And I like to think I can help. So yeah, let me know what you think. Put it down in the comments. Tell me about your ducky. You know, maybe I've had to set that duck down before. Or maybe you have some tips or strategies for me. So just let me know. Click like, click subscribe, click the little bell so you can catch up with all my videos. And I will see you again next time. Don't forget, my name is Stacy. Peace.
My name is Stacy. 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 My name is Stacy.